Good evening, Canterbury. Welcome to this NewsMakers Extra. The sale and purchase of liquor is under review, and the Law Commission is seeking the nation's views on how the law should be reshaped. They have unveiled a raft of proposals, and the review is being touted as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to redesign and retool our liquor laws. How out of kilter are those laws, and how far should the rewrite go? Well, joining us for a panel debate on the key issues, Labour MP for Christchurch East, Leanne Dalzell, National MP Nikki Wagner, and the Canterbury Head of the Hospitality Association, Peter Morrison. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We are going to start with the purchase age, which has remained a festering sore with the punters ever since the Shipley government ushered in a brave new era a decade ago. The Law Commission seemed to be in favour of this split age proposal, whereby purchases within licensed premises remain at 18 and the off-licence purchase age reverts to 20. What do the panel think? Leanne?
I think that's a great idea, and the reason that I do is that over half of the alcohol that is now drunk, in fact more than half of the alcohol that is drunk for off-licence premises, not on licensed premises. And so I think that it's a much better signal to send that supervised environments for drinking are better than unsupervised environments. So there's no need to change the 18-year-old age for the on-licences. That's your licensed restaurants, your bars, nightclubs, those sorts of things. But for off-licence, I think you get that separation, and the age difference separates them from the younger ones as well. And I think without a drinking age, it would be very sensible to increase the purchase age for off-licences to 20.
All right. Peter, how do you see it?
I don't have much of a problem. I agree with most of what Leanne said, except I think a better option would be actually to have a drinking age of 18. If you want to deal to minors, that's the way to do it, is to have a drinking age of 18. Unless you're being supplied drink by your parent or guardian, you can't be drinking it till you're 18. And the problem with one problem in the country areas, if we did have the off-premise at 18, is that a lot of the old-style country hotels have over-the-bar off-licences at 18. You know, if you want to buy some beer to take away, you have to go into the bar to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
OK.
So there is a problem with that.
I'll come back to Peter's idea in a moment. Just on the split age proposal from the Law Commission, how do you feel about that, Nikki?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I certainly think supervised drinking under 18 plus is fine. But I just think we need to remember that the vast majority of alcohol that is drunk by young people is not bought by them. So therefore, if you think that the vast majority are getting it from their parents or their friends, maybe up to 70%, I don't know how much it's really going to affect.
Obviously, you're a National Party MP, and I fully respect that when Parliament lowered the age a decade ago, it was a conscience vote, but it was very passionately led by the previous Prime Minister, Jenny Shipley. I recall her talking about this responsible latte society that was emerging in New Zealand, and we're all going to be very responsible, la, 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 la. Was that bunkum?
Well, I think that's really what we would like to see. The logic of not being able to drink in a hotel when you can get married, when you can go to war and when you can vote, the logic is very clear. And I think at the time they were hoping that they could get more control over people who were coming into the bars, that there would be more IDs and licensing like that. Most people understand that they want sensible, intelligent drinking. And I think it's really unfortunate that a small percentage of those young drinkers are spoiling it for the sensible ones.
All right. Just fleshing out what Peter raised before, a drinking age for New Zealand. Do you think it's a starter?
No, I don't think it's enforceable. And the bottom line is that, I mean, you'd be breaking the law every time you had a beer at 17 down at the rugby club. You'd be breaking the law unless your parents actually specifically gave permission or made the supply decision. We've written this into the bill that's in front of the House at the moment to say that any supply of liquor under the age of 18 should be subject to parental consent. But in so doing, we recognise that unless there's a reason for bringing it to anyone's attention, it's not going to be effectively enforced. That's why I think the separation with the off-licence purchase age is really the sensible way to go.
Just to clarify a few areas of the current law, is it illegal for someone under 18 to be drinking in a public place?
Not in a public place, no.
Not in a public place?
Licensed premises it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they were drinking down at Aberley Park, St Albans, which is not covered by any bylaws, there's no legal problem with that?
No.
Not legally, no.
Okay.
But the interesting, let me ask you a different question. Do you think that it's legal to supply liquor to somebody under 18? So can you give liquor to a 14-year-old? Are you breaking the law if you do that?
I would have thought I would be unless I was the parent or the caregiver.
No, you're not. Under the current law, you only break the law if you purchase alcohol with the intention of supplying someone under the age of 18.
Yep.
And it's a nonsense provision. It really does need tightening up.
You see, Nikki, referring to a point you raised about where are young people getting their liquor, let's suppose I'm your father. You are 16. You want to go to a...
Really hard.
Let me take you back there, darling. You want to go to a party on Saturday night.
Yes.
I go down to the local bottle store. I get you 30 RTDs. You write yourself off. You end up in hospital. Should the parent be held liable under the law?
Certainly, I think we need to make it very clear that those underage drinkers, particularly if they are supplied by their parents are absolutely responsible. The problem, of course, is making it stick.
Now, would it be stickable?
It's very
That's
difficult.
why you have the drinking age of 18 unless they're with their parents or a guardian.
Yeah, but then that would make the supply decision perfectly legitimate. And I don't think that we should try and legitimise that kind of behaviour. I just think that we should. I mean, look at the example of the case of the woman down in Invercargill who bought, was it 3 bottles of vodka
Yes.
or something
yes,
for
yes.
the kids, and then somebody got killed in a very messy accident. And I mean, in those sorts of circumstances, she was held accountable, I think, for the decision she made to supply liquor to
Those children weren't drinking with her. She'd bought the alcohol and they went off in their car. But what I'm saying is that the parents have got to be there.
Oh, you're saying actually physically there.
Yeah, not purchasing and
Gosh,
giving
that
to
would
them.
make it boring, wouldn't it?
I mean, behaviour is grossly irresponsible, but how do you catch it? That's the key issue. And a lot of this argument is about that. We know what we want our young people to do. We know the standards that we would like to see, but it's just gone a bit AWOL.
Yeah, but let's stop fooling ourselves that the law can make this change on its own. It can't. And so I think that it's hopeless to write laws that are not going to be enforceable, they're just ending up being meaningless.
OK, I'll pick up on that theme, the law versus free will and personal responsibility, a little later on. Just before we go to the break, quick question about the bylaws in Christchurch with respect to alcohol-free areas. They seem to have become a growing swathe across the city, these banned areas. Do you think this bylaw is effective, Peter?
I think it has proved effective. The police have told us that it's proved effective, especially around Hagley Park. The other areas I haven't really caught up with that much because I'm more on the alcohol accord in the central city.
Sure.
The police have said it's been. You certainly notice a difference when you go down. Is it Harper Avenue, the one?
Yeah.
With all the rubbish used to be there on a Saturday and Sunday morning.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just amazed though when you look around the city centre how many alcohol bottles in the way of glass debris you still see. Now the whole CBD is alcohol free when it comes to public consumption on the streets. So why is that glass there?
They're bringing them in. That's the problem with. We've got 24-hour off-premise licences, and people can go down to the supermarket in Morehouse Avenue, or go to anywhere out of town or one of the supermarkets that have got 24-hour licence, and they come in and get bootloads of grog and sit in the car parks and then drop it and dump it and.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's really the problem, particularly if you have somebody who's intoxicated and is not allowed into a bar. They're still on the street and they can still go and buy and consume alcohol.
Yep.
And that's probably the most dangerous situation.
OK.
They're not meant to be drinking in the street, but the police are enforcing that.
Yeah, OK. We'll take a break. Plenty more issues to explore with our panel. Do stay with us.